welcome back. I'm here today with Ariana. Ariana, do you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so like you said, my name is Ariana. I am the media director at Eastside Church of God here in Anderson, Indiana. We have been online like everybody else, and it's been a really fun experience kind of learning how to connect with people virtually in this time. We've kind of really seen an interesting way that God's people has come together in an online community. So this has all in all just been a learning experience for me. I've kind of grown myself through this, kind of learned how to do things differently, how to connect with people, and I've really seen God in different ways, kind of really showing that it's not a church building, it is us, we are the church. So it's been really cool to see, really good to see. So one thing that we really like to utilize for getting together with people and connecting is using Zoom. That's the easiest app that I have found. There's other platforms like Skype and Google Hangouts and several others, but the easiest one that I have found is Zoom. And I find the easiest way to connect with people is by scheduling meetings. So it's really user-friendly, but the easiest way to connect with other people is by scheduling meetings. So you can send them links and you can connect with them that way. But we have found that using Zoom for things like prayer times and prayer meetings, that's been something that's been really beneficial to the people that have been jumping on. So we'll have guided prayer times sometimes, and just having someone, a pastor, a leader, leading that time and walking people through prayer, whatever that looks like, if it's specific subjects, like maybe praying for people in the medical field or praying for people who are making decisions for the country, but just kind of guiding people through that prayer. And usually we'll open it up to prayer requests. So that can, if there's a lot of people, that can get a little hectic, but if there's not as many people, it's really good for people to just kind of express what they need to be prayed for, because right now, especially more than ever, people just want to be heard. So that's the biggest thing that we have found, is that people get talked at a lot. They see a lot of videos online, they see a lot of whatever, but people are not being heard as much. So using apps like Zoom or Skype or anything like that can be really beneficial, getting people together so they see faces and allowing people to be heard, because that's been really important. And then, of course, utilizing social media. Social media is a really big deal right now, probably more than ever than it has been. And of course, Facebook is probably the most popular platform. So we have been utilizing Facebook like crazy. We will have daily devotional videos, or again, those prayer time kind of things using Facebook Live, or something that could be really good way to get a lot of people involved together is using watch parties on Facebook. That's been a big deal. So you could find a video that you really like a sermon or something that's really inspiring, and you can start a watch party on Facebook. And whenever you start these watch parties, you can invite other people to join you in that watch party. And this allows you to kind of participate in real time, because you're all watching it at the same time, and you can comment, you can really get involved with people in that way. That's been something else that's kind of helping people feel like they're watching things together, or like they're participating together, even though they're not really there. That can kind of be sometimes the closest that you can get with getting people together. So that's been another useful thing for us, is the Facebook watch parties. And then don't be afraid to call or text people specifically. We get a lot of people who just want that one-on-one connection. They're on social media, they're on the internet, but there's not a whole lot of one-on-one right now. So just picking up the phone, giving someone a call, maybe even FaceTiming someone you're more comfortable with, or just sending them a text, maybe just encouraging them, send a Bible verse. Don't be afraid to do those kind of things. People really need the authenticity of people to just call and be like, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? A lot of people, again, just want to be heard. So just hearing someone maybe that's a leader in their life, just calling them specifically, that is a big deal. I think that's very, very important to check in on people and check on them often. People sometimes think like, oh, well, I called them a week ago. Well, right now, a week is a really, really long time. So be persistent with those things. Like if you're trying to start a new thing, like maybe you want to do a guided prayer time with several people, make sure you're persistent. Don't be overbearing, of course, be within reason, but just asking someone one time to do something, they may forget, they may not think about it. So be persistent with people and give them time to warm up, because this is new for all of us. So don't be discouraged if you try to start a prayer time and maybe there's not a whole lot of people that jump on the first time. Just be persistent and give people time to warm up to it. Usually, if something is continual and ongoing, people are like, maybe I should check that out. Maybe I should jump on that. And don't be afraid to do casual things too. Like maybe you're trying board games over Zoom. Like right now we could just have a board game set up and we're playing it together. Or maybe trying a new recipe, like say like, hey, I tried this today. What do you think? Just silly things, fun things. People are really needing that unique creativity right now. So don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to be persistent. That's very, very important. Be persistent with people. Check in on people often. That's very, very important right now. And if you're looking for Bible resources and perhaps things that you want to, Bible studies that you want to do together virtually like this, I know right now media has a massive plethora of resources that you can do. Like you may have heard of Francis Chan, or may have heard of Louis Giglio. They have a lot of devotionals and things that they do, like a series, and they come with study guides. So make sure you check that out. Be unique, be creative, be authentic and vulnerable. That's a huge thing right now, because it's hard enough to be in close contact with people virtually. So sometimes that authenticity is really important, because a lot of things can get lost in translation. So be vulnerable with people, especially when because people want to see faces, but it can sometimes not be enough if it's not authentic. So try to be vulnerable with people over mediums like this, because it's hard enough to have that kind of connection virtually. So don't be afraid to show your face too. People want to see faces right now. There's a lot of people who are a little bit more isolated. So phone calls are good, but faces are great too. So there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of things like social media, video calling apps like Zoom, or even trying group texting apps if you want to text people. There's like Remind. Remind is one of those group texting things. If you want to send a message to a lot of people, but maybe don't want to have a crazy group text going on, that's a great way to text a lot of people at once, and they can text you back and respond to you, but it only goes back to you. So it's not this big crazy group text. That's a great way to maybe send devotional thoughts, daily thoughts, like, hey, something to pray for today, something to be thinking about today. I think that's probably the most of what I've got right now, but there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, there are so many great ways to try and stay connected during this time when we can't really get together in person, but we thankfully have so much technology at our hands that we can use to still stay connected with our ladies and with our families, and so that's just wonderful. We also like to ask a question about how you're staying connected to God during this time.
Yeah, so for me, something that has been absolutely vital is actually using Zoom to connect with my small group. That's been something that has been really core to me, staying connected with God. Right now, we're going through a book by Dallas Willard. It's called Hearing God. So that has been an eye-opening experience for me, just kind of going through the Word together and staying connected with people that means so much to me. That's and we do it very regularly. So we try, even though it's easier to kind of put off stuff through virtual activities, we try to treat it as though we are meeting in person. So it takes precedence, and we're like, we're sticking to this, we're doing this. But also just being a part of those prayer meetings that we have sometime on Zoom or on Facebook, that's something that's really, really been encouraging for me to see, is seeing the way that we're still being a community in spite of all this, and how people genuinely are lifting each other up, are coming together, even though they can't actually see each other, but care so much about the body of Christ. And that's been really, really encouraging for me to not put off that prayer time and to not isolate. That's been super important too. Phone calls, text, that's something that I'm trying to not be afraid to do, is that you're probably not bothering someone if you just kind of give them a call or give them a text or whatever, or FaceTime or whatever that looks like. People are also being at home, social distancing. So just giving a call is probably going to brighten somebody's day. So those are all things that have been really, really important for me.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, of course. It's great to connect with you virtually.
Good to connect with you too. And until next time, bye everybody.
Goodbye.